Divinity has been taught in the University of St Andrews since at least 1539, and today our programme in Systematic and Historical Theology continues that great tradition, where we focus on core subjects in Systematic and Historical Theology, the big questions such as God, creation, human beings in relation to God and one another, and the ultimate end of us all in eschatology. The programme that we have is taught by some of the finest scholars in the world, teaching across this range of different subject areas and bringing to bear their expertise on the subject.
The MLit in Historical and Systematic Theology is a very structured programme. It focuses both on the breadth and on the depth of the Christian tradition and has components leading from the biblical material in which Christian theology is grounded all the way to the 20th century and 21st century and the cutting-edge debates that we're having at the moment. And we do that in two ways. We do that through one introductory course that looks at the emergence of theology as a discipline, starting in the biblical texts, particularly of Paul, who really does a new thing in his letters that hasn't been done before, of reflection on the divine, on the structure of the world, on the structure of human existence, and who develops ways of speaking about God that then cascade out and transform the way that people speak about themselves and the world. We look at those New Testament texts and then bring them up to the consideration of Greek philosophy and of pagan religions and philosophies in the early fathers, and see in the texts themselves how theology develops and grows as a discipline. And that gives us a good grounding for then looking at the key doctrines that have been debated throughout Christian history, both in their historical development and in exemplary instances of great theologians, so that students throughout their course have anchoring points in theologians of the patristic era, of the medieval era, of the Reformation era, and of the modern era, at whose texts they look in depth and whose texts help them to think about how it is that in one theological work we inherit a tradition and we bring it forward, because that's what we want our students to learn to do themselves. We want them to stand in a tradition that's been practiced here at St Mary's since 1539 at least, and to bring it into the future in their own voice that's informed by the voices of the past and by the voices of the people who are here now, many of whom are among the leading theologians in the world, and most of whom are there in the classroom.
That forms the core of the programme, and most of our students simply live with those modules, but there are options for those who are interested in other things. You can step sideways into more analytic treatments of certain doctrines. You can do more biblical material. You can learn a language or develop a language if that would help with the direction that you see your academic studies going. We're very proud of the coherence of the degree. We think it provides a very strong introduction to high-level study of Christian doctrine, a strong basis for further research, and a satisfying whole in itself.
I felt the course itself was structured really well. It gave me a great overview on sort of the theological controversies over the last 2,000 years, which is really quite an ambitious goal, I think. But I think they managed to succeed in it. I also felt that not only was the course broad, but it also gave me sort of a depth of understanding at sort of pockets throughout that history, which I think not only I found interesting in learning about those debates, but also has improved the ability of my own research in the way I can kind of go deep into topics.
We try to keep our groups small so that we can pay individual attention to each of our students. We're very careful in selecting our students, and we care a great deal about their personal development, their intellectual development, their professional development. And so in the classroom, we pay close attention to what it is that students care about, what they want to be in the future, and we think about how it is that we can help them to grow into those scholars that they're beginning to be. We do that through individualized essays in the courses that help them to find their own voice, and then particularly through the summer and the dissertation, which takes about 3 months, and is a work of substantial scholarship that helps those who are hoping to go into doctoral studies to develop their skills as a researcher, but which also helps those who are going back into professional work to have a good foundation of cutting-edge research on which they can build further thinking and further learning as they go back to their professional life and the demands that it has in practice.
I did a lot of things which led me grow as a scholar. For example, I was part of reading groups which helped me discussing my own research and had a lot of feedback and suggestion, which is great when you are doing your PhD. And other things is that I worked as a tutor for an academic course, which is a great experience if you would like to pursue an academic career. And also I've been the school coordinator for the School of Divinity and had the chance to deliver and design the workshops for undergrad students. So I think that St. Andrews is a great place to have a lot of opportunities if you would like to continue your career.
The MLIT has prepared me for doctoral work by giving me the tools needed to be an independent researcher. Being a junior theologian, I felt like at the end of the course I was able to go and find the research materials myself and give answers to questions.
I felt like I was being given time and invested in. So I've had a number of one-on-one meetings before I started doctoral work to talk about what my future might look like, what kind of career aspirations I might have and how to achieve those things. And so I felt I was being invested intellectually, but also invested in personally.
Students are given a full voice to give opinions to professors and to disagree amicably and sometimes forcefully, which always comes out with better ideas at the end of the day. And it's always a highlight of the week, getting to sit around the table with the best minds in the subject.
When people disagree about things at St. Andrews, there's no hostility, but often lively and probably the most interesting conversations take place, especially when the disagreement's between two professors.
One of the ways in which we support each other as a community is through the weekly research seminar. This is really the heart of the life of systematic and historical theology at St. Mary's College. It's a space where we all get together, staff, PhD students, master's students, some adventuring undergraduate students, if they feel up to it. And in the first semester of the year, we read through a corpus of texts together, while in the second semester of the year, we hear from visiting speakers.
The interchanges we have with each other are a significant part of our intellectual life. And as you join us as postgraduate students, we invite you into that community and to become part of those conversations.
One of the things that I love about St. Mary's and the School of Divinity is that it feels like a community of learning. There is nobody who is merely there as a spectator. There's nobody there who feels that they already have it all figured out and they're just there to pass it on. We feel very strongly that we are in a place which is steeped in theological tradition, a place that has led theological thought and practice in Scotland for many centuries. And we are in that place and in that tradition in order to take it forward and to take it forward together.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the classes was that you had staff to bounce ideas off with, and also I felt the course attracted sort of, at least in my experience, a very high caliber of students that I was also able to sort of grow from and bounce ideas around.
One of the things that I appreciate about the community in St. Andrews is the fact that it is a great community with a lot of scholars and students from all around the world.
I came to St. Andrews expecting a very cold academic environment and was warmly greeted by every professor and student I met, invited into professors' homes, and was always able to speak with the professor whenever I had any concerns or questions.
St. Andrews is a great place to study. It has an academic rigour that I haven't found at other universities. where it's a mutual atmosphere of flourishing through hard study, but it's fun through that as well.
So one of the things I really enjoyed about the MLit course was that it had a very ambitious goal to try and understand theology over the last 2,000 years. And yet at the same time, I think it totally succeeded in that goal. I felt that I got a really great understanding of most of the sort of historical key moments in theological controversies. And in those moments, we got to go into real depth and detail into what they involved, as well as the breadth.
To anyone who is thinking about coming to study here, I would say definitely do it. You'll not regret it. It will prepare you for further study, or it will round you off what you know already. There's no downsides at all.
If you want to know more about the course, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. The academic staff is very happy to answer questions about any of the academic aspects of the course. The postgraduate secretaries are happy to answer any logistical questions or administrative ones. And the students who are listed on our website are usually happy to have inquiries from people who are considering the course. So please do make use of those opportunities, put in an application. We look forward to hearing from you.